This is a slide that I created based on what I heard while I was at Microsoft, and you quickly see that we're probably way behind with the Microsoft Customer Agreement release that Microsoft has envisioned themselves, because they state that in calendar wave 1 would start in calendar year 19, and it was actually true. They started with opening up the Microsoft Customer Agreement to Azure-only deals. And it was mandatory for a customer-led, so self-service through the website, but optional for partner and Microsoft-led. So you could still sign Microsoft Azure contracts, standalone contracts through other channels. In August and November of 2020, they decided to remove the Azure-only server and cloud enrollment option, and any new Azure customers would move to the Microsoft Customer Agreement immediately. For Azure additions to an enterprise agreement contract or additions to a server and cloud enrollment. So for instance, if you had a server and cloud enrollment with core infrastructure or SQL Server in it, you could still tie Azure into that. Or if you had an enterprise agreement and you were renewing that, you could still tie Azure into that as well. So it's not taken away from the enterprise agreement fully, but a lot of things, the thing that has changed the most was to be able to sign an Azure-only SCE. In that time frame, they also expanded the possibilities around certain contractual changes that you could make. So amendments were possible for financing regulations, GDPR, investment funds, HIPAA, and so a lot of the basic things that would require certain industries to be able to sign these contracts. Now is where it gets interesting. What they stated back in the day was that in calendar year 2020, which we've already passed, they would add different cloud services like M365 in the D365 portfolio. They will be optional for Microsoft-led, optional for partner-led, and mandatory for customer-led or self-service. This has not happened yet, with the small distinction that for the CSP model, the entire CSP model, as I said, was changed to Microsoft Customer Agreement. So basically, if you're buying through CSP, you are already on the Microsoft Customer Agreement. For Microsoft-led and self-service, this has not been included yet, and this still goes through the standard channels like an enterprise agreement or just the relevant website. Wave 3, the second half of calendar year 20, software and hybrid options should have been added, but as we know, the previous phase has not been fully concluded, so this phase has also not been done yet. You see some changes going into CSP with the option to buy server subscriptions and certain on-premises licenses as a subscription through CSP. But other than that, for the Microsoft-led motion and the self-serve motion, it is not an option yet.